That clip you posted had capture. It had voice capture and everything. Xbox doesn't do that by default when you make a clip or anything.
Yeah, that was pulled from PlayStation.
That's nice.
And all I did was press the capture button. I don't think it had my audio for some reason, because I know I was talking during that too. But it didn't have my audio. But
I heard you.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were on that clip, and then I heard myself. Maybe I was like, holy listening. Shit, I heard Cesar.
I know, I heard Cesar. Cesar probably didn't see it. I posted
Cesar
that
or Russell.
Clip.
Whoever it was.
Clip of...
the helicopter. It was Cesar.
Practice, and you crashed the helicopter into the roof.
Oh, yeah.
I guess that was pre-show last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I completely forgot about it. I was messing around with... Because... foreshadowing. This came in earlier than it said it was going to.
Foreshadowing. Hey!
Yeah, because this said it was going to be here like the 17th or 18th, even though I ordered it last weekend for some reason.
It had like a weird delay.
Yeah. But then I got a message Friday saying, hey, it'll be here Saturday.
Was it from the Amazons?
Yep.
Sounds like an Amazon thing.
Indeed.
Man, I love getting my stuff from Target because they have such good deals and stuff, and like buy two get ones and all that. But their shipping has gotten to turned into complete garbage.
Everybody's shipping just sucks now.
My Mega Man game is on the fucking Pony Express. That shit ain't gonna get here till like next Wednesday, and it came out Friday.
I waited for Resident Evil. I mean, I haven't played Resident Evil yet, but I waited for that. Well, and then I had to swap it, so that was a whole nother ordeal. And then I get it home and unwrap it, and the whole bottom of the case is crushed out. Those new thin plastic cases they have. I'm shaking it, and there's just blue shit raining down. I've got looks like a dog bit off the edge of my case. There's nothing there in the bottom corner.
My problem is everyone that comes from Amazon. No, just about everyone that comes from Amazon. I get it, and the CD, the disc is loose in it. Every time.
Love that, especially for the ones I'm just going to throw on the shelf. Like, I just got this to put on the shelf. I'm not playing. I'm not installing this right now.
If it's Lego pieces from Play Asia or
shit, even GameFlies are always in the thing.
GameFly, like just other places. It just most of the time it's fine. Yeah. But for some reason, coming through Amazon, I guess just all getting jostled around in shipping. It's always
crazy.
You hear it bouncing around in there.
My Evil West should be here sometime early this next week, so I think we're going to do a co-op stream with that.
I have yet to play it, so let's go.
And I think we can start it at the beginning. I don't think we have to do any sort of, my barrier of entry.
Oh, handhelding until...
or play 2 hours and then the co-op opens up. I think it's immediately co-op, like old school style. The new Dark Watch. Where the hell's Renee? We need our third person. There's only 2 people in here now. Renee, where you is?
Oh, that's right. That is something else I ordered. Trials of Mana. Trials. Or was it?
Yes, Trials. For PS4? I spent $20. I think I got this. Walmart had them both for $20 at some point. What did it dip down to? Is it still 20-ish?
Trails. Yeah, it's still in the 20s. I ordered that, and I've ordered a couple of 3DS games.
Uh-oh. Physical 3DS games?
Yeah, I got Mario and Luigi's Paper Jam coming last week.
Paper Jam's still affordable, right? It's not stupid crazy yet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Last week I got Kirby.
Did you get
Triple Deluxe? I think it was. Okay.
That was a greatest hits at one point, so that should still be okay.
Yeah, when they did greatest hits.
Yes, here we go.
Yeah, I miss greatest hits. Remember those programs?
Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D.
How much was that?
24.
That's good.
Something like that, because that was Triple Deluxe, Mario Luigi Dream Team, and there's one more. What was it? New Yoshi's Island. Yoshi's New Island. Sorry. Yoshi's New Island.
Interesting story back in the heyday of the great Kmart promos. I know Cesar used to hit this up too. They had it was the 3DS XL at that point. It was the red one, and it came with Donkey Kong Country, which was new.
Oh,
And
okay.
that's when I got one for the missus, because she was really digging the Picross games. So I was like, we'll play this co-op. It comes with a copy of this, because I already had one, and we never played it co-op. So I have 2 copies of Donkey Kong Country.
Still time. Still
Yeah,
time.
it's true. It's like, I think it's half frame rate when you play in 3D, Brant, so keep that in mind. The 3D looks good, but...
Yeah, that was one of those things where it's like every time a new game came out, and it's like if I wanted to see it in 3D, I'd flick that slider up a little bit and be like, "Oh yeah, that's cool," and then immediately flick it back down because, yeah, I never. I mean, when the 3DS was brand new, I played everything in 3D.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, it was so cool. You know, Street Fighter, this, that, and the other. But that OG, that launch 1, 2 had such bad viewing angles. You had to have it just right from your face, and you couldn't tilt it a little bit. And
I upgraded to the XL at some point, and then Cesar had the new one and sold me on that. Like, look at this, it follows you everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like that should have been the one they launched with, and then it would have been this flawless implementation. But it's like by then 3D nobody was doing the 3D thing.
yeah, I know there were so many games. I think it was,
but the games that did it well just like,
I think it might have been one of the Pokemon games. I got it and had been playing it, like I think that might have been the Sun and Moon era, right there toward the end of the 3DS. And I tried to turn the slider up on that, and it didn't even do 3D. like they didn't even implement
3D not included.
I was like,
Yeah, because like Zelda Ocarina of
That's a good
Time
sign.
and Link Between Worlds and Mario 3D Land, like the 3D Land scale was, and Luigi's Mansion was incredible too. That was beautiful.
oh yeah, those look great.
Yeah, and I thought they had it solved. Like, they figured it out. You don't need glasses. This is the way to do it. You're playing a handheld. It's already not meant for group. A lot of people playing. It's not couch co-op with one screen. Like, they've got it figured out. And then ended up just
Had
being
you
a
seen
fad.
Had you seen that they had been working on that technology for a while?
The 3D.
Like there was
the first Luigi's Mansion
was
was supposed to have 3D.
Yeah, there was a prototype like screen, basically kind of like how Sony did the 3D TV
Yep.
for PS3. But this was, of course, back in before for the GameCube.
Yeah.
It was but I guess it was going to cost too much or
It wasn't ready for consumer.
something. Yeah, it just wasn't ready up to par. I don't know.
I mean, same thing looking
The
back
full
with
story.
Progressive Scan, just about.
Yeah.
You didn't have a whole lot of consumer Progressive Scan displays for that, and it was ahead of time. I wonder if 8K might end up being that tale of this generation.
I mean, was it the
Maybe.
Tourist? Tourist is the only one I've seen that can run in 8K.
The Tourist? What is that?
For PS5?
I wonder how that looks in 8K. What does an 8K display look like? 15 frames per second?
I mean, the Tourist is not like a power-hungry game, so...
Native 8K. All right, let's hit the ground running.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I still don't get my recording thing. That's annoying. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 253. Holy shit, that's too many episodes. Of the NOFODcast. We are No Outside Food or Drink, the Southeast premier video game podcast. 253 is too many. This might be the last one. You guys ready to hang it up? Is this our swan song?
Maybe.
The Last Dance? We're gonna get a Hulu special after this, or was that ESPN Plus? This week, Mario Brothers in the Library? Question mark. Have y'all? This might be a side note, but have y'all seen libraries that rent video games out? It's been a long time since I was in a public library, but that's a common thing apparently. Does Pines do it? Pines is our local Georgia library system.
I will have to check into that and let you know. I know they do ebooks. I do
That's
not know
cool.
about video games.
Ebooks is cool. So you just roll through with your
No, no.
e-reader? Is it like a specific one you gotta have?
I don't remember if it's specific, but yeah, you can rent out ebooks all the time. I think you just have to have the app on your phone.
Oh, you don't have to go. Like I'm thinking, there's like geofence. Like you have to go to the library and get in the parking lot. And then you grab a book and you try to dash out of there with the. You stole your book digitally. Like you're getting the hell out of there.
No, it's nothing like
Drive-by book renting.
Yeah, I think as long as you have the app and your account and everything,
You can do it. The Pines
linked in there. Yeah.
Pines app. Next up in news, Ubisoft Plus now on Xbox. What is that? Suicide Squad kill the release date. Well done, Brant. That was pretty good. Sega looking to purchase Rovio. I thought they were worth way more than what Sega could have purchased them for. And we have your April PlayStation Extra and Premium titles. I believe, if I recall correctly, there's some good titles in there. I'm one of your hosts, Richard Bergman, joined today by Newsmaster Brant McKee.
What's up?
And our resident Page Master and Lore Master, Cesar Concepcion II.
Hello.
Cesar, how do you do?
Genki.
Brant, how do you do?
Good.
Brant
Pretty
Brant
good.
is balls deep in some projects. We'll be catching up on that games played, I'm assuming.
Nah. Just a lot to do. Not as many games played.
What Game Boy Color?
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I think we're all in that boat. Unless Cesar's just been tearing it up. What
No, I have not.
What is the next Game Boy console you're resurrecting, Brant? He hasn't picked one.
The next Game Boy. I don't know. I did look at another. I did find myself looking at a Game Boy Advance shells today. So.
Oh hell. So I did. This has probably been 4 or 5 years, but I did an SP mod with a friend of the show, McLeod, and it went swimmingly. It was awesome. I had this real banged up, shitty. What's the good one? The 101 with the bright screen.
Yeah.
And then I bought a Zelda third party like gold case and everything, and it looks brand spanking new now. It's beautiful. And in that time in between then and now, I found it's a 101. It's the original one, or no?
Yeah, I think I have the
001 or whatever. Yeah, whatever one is not the bright screen one. But it's got like a Dragon Ball sticker on it, and McLeod's like, you got to save the Dragon Ball sticker. But it's dinged up. Like this thing looks like it's not quite the famous, the Game Boy that survived the Iraq bombing, or like in 1991, that one they have on display.
Yeah.
It's not quite that bad and melted looking and all that. And it does play Tetris, but not natively like that system. Well, still.
Has anybody watched the Tetris movie yet? I haven't watched it yet.
So, before my week-long vacation, I specifically downloaded that locally to my iPad with the intent of watching the Tetris movie. And have yet to do so. It's still, so we just finished up an Apple TV, or Apple, what do they call that? Apple TV Plus, Apple Plus.
Yeah.
We just finished up a show, and I always look at like what's new, what's hot, that sort of thing. They do like tiers and rankings and stuff. And the Tetris movie was like number 4. So it's right up there along with their flagship stuff. So I guess that's a good thing. Mario Brothers movie is still burning it up at the movie theater.
Yeah.
So, did y'all go see it yet?
I still have yet to see it yet.
Y'all haven't either?
I've been meaning to. No.
We gotta go.
And that was one of those things where, I heard from like a movie critic during a review say that, oh yeah, it's in theaters and it's on the what is it, Voodoo app. And I was like, oh great, well, yeah, I'll pay a little bit extra and watch it from home. It's not on there yet.
Oh, you had me. I was like, wake up, kids! I'm gonna run upstairs.
That's the thing. I think Shazam and there's a few other movies that are in there because like Voodoo and Fandango are like one thing, so they do like an early viewing thing. But Mario hasn't moved over into that threshold.
That would
yet.
make sense. I mean, it's still killing it. I don't think they would like immediately move. I'm pretty sure that was the number 1 movie this weekend too. My cousin in Oregon couldn't believe I hadn't been to see it. She was like, "We took the whole family. Why haven't you gone? You're the game guy." I'm like, "We haven't had time. There's been no time."
Yeah, too busy. Life happens.
I still would love to all get together and go see that. I think it would be a good time.
We talked about that earlier today because one of the grandmothers called the other day and was asking if...
Damn, it's like, are there like 10 of them?
It's
the grandmothers. Get to the phone. It's one of the grandmothers.
but she called and wanted to know if our son would like to accompany her to the Mario movie, and mom had to say, well, that's something we all really wanted to see together. And I, had the conversation with her. I was like, yeah, the guys said, should we go see this together? I was like, well, I kind of want to see it with my family. Yeah. She goes, well, we could all.
That was what I was
families,
thinking.
Group of families. Yeah. I was like, yeah, and I guess we could, see if Cesar and if Renee is in town. We could everybody, but huge group. I'll go.
I bet Renee would go. I know a friend of the show, Jeremy, wants to go and take his child as well. So we could. I mean,
we could pack a theater.
I don't know how much the rent a theater thing is, but we might be closing in on the point where it's be okay with. We have our.
So it's a couple $100.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Like couple like 2 or couple like 5?
Close to 300 maybe.
Okay, divided by.
I don't know. That might be.
If we need 30 people. Might be worth it. 30 people divided by 10. That's a pretty decent rate. Sneak our quick trip snacks in there. Or Wawa. I was recently in Florida where they have Wawas, and Wawa might be the superior quick stop gas station. I do appreciate some Wawa. Oh, let's get on to this news. Oh, look at that. Super Mario Brothers themed. Oh, speaking of which, is it Kotaku?
Oh, God.
Kotaku has ranked the top 25 Super Mario games, and that is... I always appreciate lists, and Jeremy Parrish was a noted... I won't say troll, but it was a conversation that he led on some of his ranking lists back in the day. Was that Kotaku? I feel like he was right for Kotaku then. But this one is interesting. The original Super Mario Brothers is like number 13, so there's some wild stuff. Yep, they separated Bowser's Fury. That's higher than the original Super Mario Brothers, and I'm kind of like, I don't know if you can quite do that. This game's like 35 years old and it's timeless. I guess spoilers. Number 2 was Super Mario Brothers 3. And anybody want to take a gander at number 1? The greatest Super Mario game of all time.
64. Probably they put Mario 64.
That was
really?
Like 5 or 6, I want to say.
Was it Galaxy?
No, those were in that same like 3 to 6 or 7. Galaxy 1 and 2 were back to back, very near the top. So was Odyssey.
Number 1.
This would probably be close to my number 1 or number 2. They're almost interchangeable to me. They were released very close together. One was a launch title for its respective platform. Brant may have a T-shirt with it on there, provided by
Super Mario
friend of the show, Richard. Yeah, Super Mario World.
I was actually wearing that earlier today.
Yeah, there you go. The argument was like it's not as ambitious as Super Mario Brothers 3, and it's maybe not as groundbreaking as Super Mario 64, but it's like the quintessential experience. It's easy to learn, hard to master, great worlds. They build on each other. Introduction to Yoshi. It was a pretty compelling argument.
Yeah. It is a good Mario.
And they're all opinion
pieces.
It is
really, really good.
This one had, there's a lot of Super Mario Sunshine slander out there, but this one had Sunshine pretty high up on the list.
It better be pretty damn high on the list. I love Sunshine.
Oh, Brant's a Sunshine defender.
I loved that game.
It's good.
Non-stop playing it on the GameCube.
Yeah. And those of us that had a GameCube that went through those just dry spells of content, that was one of the heavy hitters for sure. All right, let's jump into Super Mario Brothers news. This comes from Chris Scullion at videogameschronicle.com. Not .org. Not... What are some of the other ones? .gov.
.gov.
There we go.
.biz.
Super Mario Brothers .gov. Does anybody have that? Can we get Super Mario Brothers .gov? .biz is good. I don't hate that one. The Super Mario Brothers theme is the first game music selected for preservation in the Library of Congress. Koji Kondo's music joins more than 600 other culturally significant sound recordings. This will be the definitive Super Mario game, is whichever game they picked, right?
Yeah.
Since 2002, the library has been maintaining The United States National Recording Registry, a list of sound recordings that are culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant and or inform or reflect life in the United States. That took until 2002 to start recording that stuff? That seems awful, right?
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay. Every year, 25 pieces of music are selected to be added to the National Recording Registry. I guess that's why. It's so important we can only pick 25 at a time. This year, Koji Kondo's main theme for Super Mario Bros. Is one of the 25 chosen, marking the first time a piece of video game music has been added to the registry. Other sound recordings chosen for inclusion this year include Imagine by John Lennon, Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin, Take Me Home, Country Roads by John Denver. That's video game music. That was in that Fallout trailer. Like a Virgin by Madonna, All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. That belongs. And Sweet Dreams Are Made of This by Eurythmics. While the National Library already has a vast sound collection of nearly 4 million items, the recordings selected for the registry, of which there are now a total of 625, are considered so important that they must be permanently preserved. Preserved how? Is that like an MP3, like a 1 megabyte compressed MP3 sitting in the vault somewhere? What is that? We put them all on an iPod, classic click wheel iPod. That's how it gets selected to the. These recordings are not necessarily selected as the best recordings of all time, but rather as works of enduring importance to American culture and hence in need of permanent preservation by either the Library of Congress or another qualified institution. The Library of Congress explains.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Super Mario Brothers theme. What else are we putting in? We're opening up the video game wing. What else are we throwing in there?
Doom. The Doom theme.
What was that, EMC 2 or something is what they call the...
Yeah.
Or is that the formula that Einstein came up with for the theory of relativity? What would I put in there?
Let's see.
Maybe a Final Fantasy battle theme? That'd be up there. Or the victory fanfare, like the main theme, like the crystal... The one that's at the intro of most of the titles, but I guess...
The prologue?
Yeah, the prologue. That's it, Cesar. I guess one of the better ones of those.
Main theme for Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
I'm just amazed. I'm more amazed that they just added Imagine from John Lennon and Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah, how was that not like your introductory class?
Yeah.
I mean, Take Me Home, Country Roads is also classic.
I mean, what else do you do from John Denver? Who's been gone a long, long time at this point. Almost 30 years. I don't know. Something like this doesn't need to be, in my opinion, doesn't need to be like a 25 entries per year. Like you're just... And this is the first video game song out of 625. We had no video game tracks until 625 later. And why are there not different wings? Why is it not 25 per genre? But then you get, and I guess, I mean, we've talked about this at length on the podcast. Like, games shouldn't be driven into genres, I don't think. Like, what now doesn't have RPG elements? What doesn't have level up system or crafting or, what is an RPG now? What is an action-adventure title? What is a platformer? Could you jump? You jump in everything now. So... It's almost like it shouldn't be driven up by genre either, so... I'm with Cesar on the Stairway to Heaven.
I'm more upset about that than anything else. What the fuck? So
yeah, we took 625, and then they picked Super Mario Brothers.
I mean, if they just added fucking Led Zeppelin, man, they're years behind.
Yeah. And what made it in before that? And where does it go? Can we access this? Can we go on the site and play off of whatever player they have? Play the 625 song playlist?
A good question.
I will convert one of my iPods into the Library of Congress iPods, and I'll just have every year I'll add 25 songs to it every year, and that's all I'll listen to. The rest of my life is whatever they deem historically important. Brant has, for our audio listeners, Brant has a Nirvana t-shirt on. It is probably one of my least favorite Nirvana songs on there. I'm guessing that's culturally significant, but once you've heard Smells Like Teen Spirit 500,000 times, is that the best Nirvana song? No, but it's culturally significant, so I guess it's in the...
It definitely is.
Yeah. All right. That was a good news bit. I hadn't seen that anywhere. Ubisoft Plus Multi-Access, now available for Xbox Series and Xbox One. Still, I don't think Renee's on here. Nope, somebody's on YouTube. It might be Renee. Renee seems to be on a campaign against the Series S, but I'm starting to think more and more those Jaguar Xbox consoles are kind of keeping development curbed. Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah, I don't think it's
that old VHS box.
Yeah.
Serious potato.
I don't think it's so much the One S or the Series S as it is some of those older ones. I don't know. I don't even know what to do with my Series S now because they removed the emulator support stuff on there. Yeah.
Well, yeah, when you have somebody that puts the Xenia emulator on there and it can emulate games that you're either trying to sell on the
I heard it ran really well.
Xbox Store.
I heard it was good.
or it's running games that you technically can't sell.
But that comes back to that
Those are the best type of games.
What was that, Cesar?
Those are the best type of games.
Yeah. That comes back to the argument of like, if you're not going to make it available for sale or purchase anymore, then other means are going to be provided to access that content. People want them. That's always our argument, right, on this podcast. Let us buy the games. We want to buy these games. If you don't let us buy them, we'll find other alternate methods to procure them and play them.
It's easier for me just to pay $20 to buy a game than sit there and fucking look for it on the internet to play it some way.
I don't know. You guys provided me some very accurate... yes, Cesar, going back to the lazy argument, yes. And you're getting the benefit of playing it through the interface, and sometimes you get like upscaled content, and you get an improved version of that with the boot. I mean, I love the boot prompt for the original Xbox. It's still in there. You get all that when you... Not only
that, but sometimes with emulators, there's games that don't run well, and you've got to sit there and try and tweak them and go back into the settings and constantly play with it.
Right. All right, so somebody tell me about this Ubisoft Plus access on current and past gen consoles.
Interesting that they are adding this Ubisoft subscription service, which is, I don't know, I guess it kind of like a competitor to Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
But they've added this Ubisoft Plus multi-access. A premium service for Ubisoft subscription subscribers allows members to play multiple platforms through a single subscription. Previously only on PC and Luna. Gosh, I haven't heard anything about Luna in a while. Grants users access to a large, growing library of games, including... I'll just skip down to the actual... Well, there's a lot of them. Holy shit. So including Assassin's Creed, The Division, Far Cry, and more. So let's see what everything they got. There's a lot of games they actually have on here. Arno.
Oh God, Brand, we cannot read this list.
Assassin's Creed Rogue, Assassin's Creed.
It's like back to the MPD episodes.
Unity.
It's like every Ubisoft game released since 2014 almost.
Yeah,
think like about it, it's on
2014 sounds like the right cutoff.
It is everything.
Boggle. Jeopardy.
Boggle.
I guess that's the NES one.
The NES.
Good old,
the NES Jeopardy.
Versus Monopoly. Plus and Madness.
Jeopardy.
What was that, Cesar?
You get 2 versions of Monopoly plus and Madness.
2 versions of Risk. Risk and Risk Urban Assault. What is Urban Assault?
Yeah. That way when you're done with your Risk, you can fire up Urban Assault.
Both South Parks. The Fractured Buttholes. Starlink. Remember that game?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gosh.
Both divisions. I bought the Starlink for Switch with the Star Fox content. Was that... Did anybody ever play that? Was that any good?
No, I remember seeing it. The little... Again, with your Toys to Life.
That was the last one. That was the last one, wasn't it?
Ooh, Uno Ultimate Edition.
Uno's better than Monopoly,
right? Definitely.
Yeah.
It causes as much division in friendships, but it doesn't take an eternity to play a couple hands of Uno.
You still hate each other at the end of it, but Doesn't take.
I'd rather watch the drama unfold of people playing Monopoly in front of me, just me not playing Monopoly.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you don't have to play it.
Because it's enjoyable to me when people are getting upset. I'm like, this is funny, but when I'm doing, I'm getting pissed off.
Or Monopoly Junior. Like Monopoly Junior, I think was concise enough to be able to finish a game and you get the same thrill. Fuck Monopoly. And for some reason, I have like Nintendo Monopoly, Mario Brothers Monopoly. It's like I got one of those every Christmas for like 6 years. Like, Mom, I'm never gonna play these. Stop buying me Zelda Monopoly. It's never happening. How do you get that? It's just an add-on subscription thing?
Yeah, it's a add-on subscription.
It's not a bad deal.
Hey,
They've had this for PC before, right?
Yeah, more games, more places,
Yeah.
right? That's what Xbox always talks about.
All the Far Cry's. That's pretty dope. I just wondered if it was something they would rope into Game Pass, kind of like the EA stuff, but...
No, not yet. Who knows? Maybe we'll get another tier of Game Pass soon.
Game Pass Extra Ultimate.
Game Pass Ultimate Plus.
Yeah, everybody ends up with a plus.
Everybody loves throwing plus on there.
Everybody ends up with a plus. Except for the HBO merger thing, that's just max now.
Yeah, they're subtracting words.
They're getting rid of stuff.
The way it should be, right?
Yeah, if you're going to consolidate services, you need to consolidate some freezing. Speaking of consolidation, this comes from Gamatsu. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League delayed to February 2nd, 2024. No longer due out on May 26th. That's one hell of a delay. I knew it got delayed. I don't think I put that together. Holy shit.
Which, I mean, I guess they kind of wanted to get away from Tears of the Kingdom, but...
Yeah, but you're like, now you're in
like almost a full year away.
You're in Tears of the Kingdom expansion pass territory. I do appreciate that we still have a Horizon Zero Dawn content going up against the Zelda game. It's just meant to be. We have to have it. Publisher Warner Brothers Games and developer Rocksteady Studios have delayed Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League from its previously planned May 26 release to February 2nd, 2024. It will be available for, if these consoles still exist then, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC via Steam. Quote, we have made the tough but necessary decision to take the time needed to work on getting the game to be the best quality experience for players. Thank you to our amazing community for the continued support, patience, and understanding. There is much more to share in the months ahead, and we look forward to seeing you in Metropolis next year.
So, I mean, the last thing that they said that they were taking community feedback and, they understood that, not a lot of people were happy about some of the battle pass and things like that, but
these were all leaked things too, right? Like they had I remember they had a poor trailer, then they had a leak of how you're going to consume the content, and it seemed like the two of those combined.
Trailer again.
Oh, they had another trailer.
Yeah, but I mean, they said they were going to take some time to tweak some things here and there, but don't expect any huge departures from what it was already shown. I mean, obviously they've been working on this for some 8 years or something now, and I don't know, to take, what is this, nine months to polish, quote unquote, a game. I don't know if that's, at this point you were about ready to release it. I mean, you were showing gameplay trailers, a month away. And talking about
May 26th is a month away. We're almost halfway through the year. I can't believe that.
I don't know. There's something else. They may just be trying to, one, get away from Zelda, but also kind of get away from all the bad and negative press about the way the game's perceived, and then come back and be like, hey, look, hey, here we go, we're coming out, here's another little trailer, and maybe people will have forgotten that they didn't like whatever they saw the first time. So,
and I saw the Avengers game was just recently super on sale, and that was kind of a misstep for Crystal Dynamics. Maybe this type of game is not profitable anymore. Maybe that, they ran the math. There's a reason that delays occur, and it's not always we're not ready, because that's a 9-month delay from that release date is not indicative of polish, as Brant put it.
Yeah.
You're not polishing up whatever that product was.
We've all... Well, go ahead, Cesar.
No, I just remember I seen that tweet from Jason Schreier. I had to pull it up on here.
What's he saying? Because he's on the end.
On the Suicide Squad, he says 9 months is not enough time to completely change the nature of a game. 2, the team was told that the delay was for polish and not related to the February gameplay showcase. 3, also other factors can affect release timing, like the console makers. He goes, to be clear, polish can mean a lot of things, from performance optimization to balance tweaks to bug fixes to server stability. Folks are surprised that dev will take 9 extra months to polish a game, but that's actually normal these days. 9 years between games, less normal. He says it's typical because Starfield was delayed from November 2022 to September 2023 for polish.
Yeah. Also think this is as I read through this, for some reason I still think of all these AAA games as being some sort of cross-gen thing. And looking back down at the article, this is PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC. So even though the Series consoles are lagging behind the PS5, Xbox stopped reporting numbers during that one generation, but we kind of have a guesstimate of how many of those have sold. But you have 9 more months of install base that you get to build off of and drum this up. Is there a movie between now and then?
I think the biggest movie they got coming out is The Flash. That's supposed to be really, really good.
Okay. So then you're going to have more of that DC engine churning and more of that marketing and interest in things like that. So,
because I know the early reviews on the movie, they're saying it might be one of the best comic book movies ever made.
High praise.
There's a lot of buzz around it.
High praise.
And then second, they're using that movie to reboot the DC universe, because since it's Flashpoint, it's basically going to reset everything. So.
Okay. Will that be a needed step, essentially?
I mean, they got a new DC universe coming out from James Gunn, so they're going to use this Flash movie to kind of like kill off whatever's been done before. So,
where do we stand on the Tom Cruise monster extended universe?
That already got canceled.
Yeah, that's been dead for a very long time.
And I still haven't played it, but I've listened to the soundtrack a million times. Apparently, the best thing we got out of that was the Mummy demastered game. Soundtrack to that is so good. There's been a lot of stuff on Twitter, people joking about the Mario cinematic universe now that the Mario Brothers movie is so good. And it culminates with like Smash Brothers is the joke. It's like that pretty good. But people are mentioning like a Star Fox movie, a Zelda movie. Star Fox would just be so perfect. Remember like when they did like an animated thing, but then that E3 when Star Fox Zero was coming out, they had the puppets for Reggie and Iwata. Those were so good.
That was great.
I love those puppets.
That was awesome. I loved that E3.
Because that whole marketing around that Super Nintendo Star Fox was like animatronics and puppets and stuff. And I remember getting, it was Wheaties or Frosted Flakes or something like that, had the Star Fox stuff on the background. And I couldn't get games or consume anything. Like, the extent of my game playing was going to the big area in Walmart or Best Buy that had the kiosk and trying out stuff. So,
with the greasy controllers.
Hey, it was a game. It was something I could play, you know.
I just remember the greasy controllers.
Oh, nasty!
I had to go wash my hands like 85 times after that.
Yeah, they were gross. Those kiosks were gross. But that was always a cool way to play something and see what new was coming out that didn't correspond with a commercial or a cereal box or a cartoon ad or something like that. Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, delayed to February 2nd, 2024. It's literally almost a year. It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, next up. Sega is reportedly set to buy Angry Birds studio Rovio for $1 billion. $1 billion.
Sounds like an Austin Powers movie, yeah. Or would you prefer Austin Powers 2 when he goes $100 billion and they laughed at him? It's like, that money doesn't even exist yet.
The back in time one.
That amount doesn't even...
Poor Dr. Evil, he can't catch a break.
I think the first movie was what, $1 million? I can't remember what it was, or $1 billion, and they're like, yeah, we can pay that.
Yeah, because they unfroze him and he was in the future, and he said $1 million, and they laughed at him. Yeah, because they were gonna pay the ransom. Like, sure, cash, check, money order. How do you want that? And then his whole panel's like, no, you can ask for more.
Number two, yeah, number two.
Number two.
It's not a lot of money
billion.
nowadays. Not a lot of money nowadays.
Dr. Evil. You're gonna need to demand.
Which one? The Rob Lowe one, or what was the?
Who was the original number 2? It wasn't Ravelo. That number 2
Rob
got
Lowe was the
killed.
one when they went back in the past. It was like Robert Wagner in the
Yep.
present tense, and it's like Rob Lowe in the
Yep.
past.
Who does number 2 work for?
Yeah, the same one. You tell that turd who's boss.
And what was like Fraulein was the one that always looked the same no matter what.
Yeah, she was the same. Hey, I'm a Bond fanatic. Like the villain that she was based off of from Russia with Love, when she had the spiked shoes. I think her last name was Kleb. She was a serious villain. She was really good. Robert Shaw was her like understudy. He was a great character too because he choked everybody out. So he had like the pull wire thing come out of his watch, and he would choke people. Long before his appearance as Quint on Jaws. Well, before he was swimming with bow-legged women. Somehow we made it all the way back around to Angry Birds and Sega. I remember at a certain point in time when Sega could not have pulled this off.
Yeah.
This comes from VideoGamesChronicle.com and Chris Scullion once again. Sega could be poised to acquire Rovio Entertainment, the Finnish developer behind the Angry Birds series of games. According to a report in the Wall Street Journal, which cites people familiar with the situation. That's probably a good group of people to cite. Sega Sammy Holdings is in talks to buy Rovio in a deal worth around $1 billion. This ad that I'm looking at currently is questionable of content. The report suggests... Is she blinking at you nonstop? Okay.
Yes, she is blinking for some reason.
The report suggests that as long as the talks don't break down and aren't drawn out for any reason, the deal could be done in a matter of days. Rovio had previously been the target of Playtika, an Israel-based mobile developer best known for its casual slot machine, poker, and hidden object games. All 3 of those being some of my favorite games to play. Rovio has now confirmed that this is an update. Rovio has now confirmed that it is in discussions with Sega Sammy Holdings. Rovio and Sega will release further information at an appropriate time, the company says, adding there is no certainty as to when the possible tender offer would take place, or whether it would take place at all, nor as to the terms of such potential tender offer. We don't know if we're buying them. We don't know when we're buying them. We don't know how much we'll buy them for. But tenderly, they're doing it as a tender offer. Brant, what's the most tender offer you've ever fielded? Playtika announced in January that it had submitted a proposal to acquire Rovio for $810 million. $810 million. Dun,
Dun, dun, dun, dun, dun.
da, da, da. That's pretty good. That's hard. And that'll be our copyright claim. I get to put that one on the wall.
I mean, if the copyright machine makes it sound like that, we just produce that sound just like the original one on there, I'll take it.
Yeah.
There's no way we sound that good.
They're flying around in the big boy burger thing, the floating thing, the floating sign.
Oh, freezing. Yeah, with the cat frozen in there too.
Mr. Bigglesworth.
Yeah.
I love it because Blofeld always had a cat, but they never named the cat. Why did he call it Mr. Bigglesworth? He's like, if the Bond villain had a cat, what would he call it? He's like, I don't know, Mr. Bigglesworth. We need an Austin Powers game. Think of how zany an Austin Powers game would be and what sort of villains you could get away with.
Wait a minute.
There's a pinball. I've looked at, believe me, I've recently looked up. I've wanted to play an Austin Powers video game very recently. And for the PlayStation 1, there's an Austin Powers pinball game, which I still may consider getting. That'd be a fun stream. Would they get you on the music on the Austin Powers stuff? You got to be careful with the CD consoles like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you get you start hitting the walls of the pinball, and it's like, yeah, baby, yeah, baby.
So I'm seeing a Austin Powers "Oh Behave" on the Game Boy.
Brent, you might have it on
Powers.
your alternate storefront device.
Austin Powers pinball, Austin Powers trivia.
Trivia? It's like movie trivia?
Yeah, I don't know what this is.
The pinball might be worth it. I wonder how expensive it is. Give us a good Austin Powers video game, you cowards.
Yeah, there's a freaking Austin Powers video game for the Game Boy Color that was developed by. I'm looking at the cart now. It has the Rockstar logo on it.
Interesting. There's a Stern pinball, like an actual Austin Powers Stern pinball table. That would be incredible. I must seek this out and play it now. Oh, there it is, 2001.
There's a sequel. There's a sequel too. Austin Powers, Welcome to My Underground Lair, and it just has Dr. Evil on there.
Oh shit!
This is little Pinky.
This one's in Loganville. It's $6,000. It's in Loganville, Georgia. We can get to it. 5,800 or best offer, free shipping, or we could just go pick it up. Brant, where's the pinball? I thought it was on PlayStation 1. I don't see it on eBay. There it is. I had to keep scrolling. It must be a rare PlayStation 1 game.
I don't know.
Oh god, there's a Pirates of the Caribbean one. There we go. Pinball PS1. All right, $12. New sealed $12. Do I get this? Do I stream Austin Powers? Do I stream Austin Powers Pinball?
Yeah, baby.
Open a sealed one? A non-sealed one is... Uh-oh, music takedown. DMCA, here we go. Alright, this is $10 for an unsealed one. I might as well pay the $3 and open it brand new, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, it's coming.
Open it on stream.
Open it on stream? I'll do it. I'll do it. This will get me streaming something again. Alright, hold on. I gotta just check out with PayPal. Watch me do all this nonsense, and I have a copy sitting in there. All right, look forward to Austin Powers Pinball sometime soon.
This is like the one on Game Boy Color is a really weird action platformer.
Go on. Remember, Game Boy Color is basically NES, so you're saying there's an Austin Powers NES platformer out there.
Well, it's got to be skinned. I mean, he's collecting peace signs.
That's what I expect from
running
Game Boy
away
Color.
from trash cans. Collecting tea, mojo, and I don't know, maybe some glasses.
So the collectible items in a Game Boy Color game is always something related to the series, right? And then the villains are something totally out of left field. So a trash can checks out. Something inanimate that has nothing to do with the series. Unless I don't recall and he actually fought a trash can somewhere in those movies. So sorry, here's that super rare Cubics Robots for Everyone title. Beyblade. Brant, did you ever get into the Beyblade stuff?
No, I was never a Beyblade.
Not a Beyblader.
Damn, Brant. It's messed up.
This one's been on my watch list.
I never let it rip.
You at least know the tagline. Get out of here.
Beyblade, let it rip.
Oh boy, let's wrap up news. Are we done with the done with Austin Powers news?
Yeah.
No, this was Sega and Rovio.
So last we've got PlayStation Plus.
We lost viewers. We lost 3 viewers during that bit.
Mm-hmm.
People drop like flies.
$1 million.
But yeah, we've got like your PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium. So as far as your extra tier, which I'm still considering the best tier out of all of these.
I think that's being reiterated week after week. Month after month is what I meant.
Month after month. So PS4, PS5, we have Kena, Bridge of Spirits. PS4, PS5, Doom Eternal. Raiders Republic.
Ooh.
PS5.
Almost heard Raiders of the Lost Ark.
would be down for Raiders of the Lost Ark Republic.
Ooh.
Wolfenstein 2.
Oh, that's some foreshadowing.
The new Colossus.
Is
Slay the
Is the
Spire.
first one the one I just played on Steam? Is that currently on this thing? On this platform? I'm wanting Brandon to play the New Order.
I'd have to look.
Because you have, what, the Old Blood?
Old Blood is later on this list, and Wolfenstein 2.
Yeah.
But I skipped the The Old Blood is a
I'll
prequel.
check in a second.
Okay.
Yes.
Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom, PS4.
Oh, that's the
PS5.
newer Monster Boy they did. That's a pretty big get.
Evil Within, Wolfenstein, the Old Blood, Bassmaster Fishing, PS4.
Brant, what
PS5.
announcing was that?
I
Dovetail
don't know.
Games presents
I was
Bass
about to try
Master
and
Fishing.
I couldn't help but actually crack up in the middle of it.
I love a good fishing game. I don't know how good this one is, but I love a good fishing game.
We have Paradise Killer as well, PS4, PS5. And we talked about Sackboy last week.
Yeah, you did.
So now we have the premium PlayStation, which is usually the classic tier. So we're going to get classic PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, possible PSP games. So let's see what we're getting into here. We have
Take a shot.
we have
If
Doom.
you.
We have Doom for PS4.
Oh, yay, Doom!
Okay.
Does it play Doom?
Doom 2 for PS4.
Okay, so all right, let's backpedal for a second.
I guess both of those were on PS1 though, right?
No.
So
You had Doom Final Levels and Doom. What was that? Doom Classic, I think they called that other one. All right, so I'm going to back up for a second. We're laughing and making fun of it. There's 4-player co-op for both of those campaigns. I'm willing to try this. I really want to. Yeah, I'm just
Okay.
Local 4-player deathmatch and local 4-player co-op. Damn it.
I see that.
Yeah, and here's
But it
also
is local.
Yep, also on Doom 2 you get 4-player deathmatch and local 4-player co-op. Shit. I would play some online co-op.
And next we have who could forget this PS1 classic, Doom 64. I remember playing Doom 64 back in the day.
Just like Wipeout 64
on my PlayStation.
from the PlayStation.
Wipeout. And that of course is for PS4. We have Doom 3 for PS4.
And this is not the what'd they call that one? The definitive, whatever they call it, that remake. This is not that version, but it does come with the expansion that was like a standalone for the Xbox.
I thought
Return to Hell. There's a subtitle for it because I did read that in the press release. It's not the re-release of Doom 3. This is like the first one that got ported.
And then lastly, you have your Dishonored Definitive Edition for PS4. Mm-hmm. Which I guess you could argue Dishonored was originally a PS3 game, so
it runs way better on PS4 again.
And this this is the definitive edition that is, like Cesar said, much better.
Dishonored famously, I think Cesar had messaged me like, this game's so good, you gotta try it out. It's the game on PS3 where I was like, this thing is not meant. It was in that era of like Bioshock Infinite.
It was right before, the new era, and it was these
things are not meant to run these games.
It was like, ugh.
Oh, leaving PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, I was about to say, as a last little bit here, we actually have our first leaving PlayStation Plus. So the big one here is Marvel's Spider-Man. Resident Evil, which of course was the classic director's cut edition that you could get only if you had PlayStation
it's not
Plus.
the remake? It's not the GameCube PS3 one?
I
had that in my mind for some reason, because I just tried that out on... There's a weird Steam Deck fix you have to do. I'll go over that in a minute.
NBA 2K Playgrounds 2. And I think that's... Yep. That's
all that's leaving.
3 leaving.
It doesn't seem like a lot tends to leave that subscription service.
I'm about to say that's the first time we've actually had stuff leaving the service. So
I will give it props for that. You don't have this constant rotation of content. You usually have just additions.
But technically, I mean, we've only been talking about that for what, 6 months, 7 months
since they merged.
They technically revamped it. Yeah.
I think I'm still good for like another year and a half, and I don't know if I've partaken in any of the... No, I played some Siphon Filter. I played like 10 minutes of Siphon Filter, which I've owned for eons. I don't have the PlayStation app on my iPad. I was going to look and see if Wolfenstein New Order was on there.
I'm I'm in the PlayStation app.
Yeah, look real quick,
now.
Brand, if you don't mind, because I highly recommend playing this. I got
Here's-
when I was talking about it, I got friend of the show Russell fired up and playing through it. It doesn't take much, and it's so satisfying killing Nazis. Brand's giving us a live update. Can you play Wolfenstein: The New Order on PlayStation Plus Extra? That's the mid-tier one, right? It's Premium, Extra, and Essential.
Included with games catalog in your PlayStation Plus subscription. So yes, on my extra tier, it is included.
Okay, the New Order, Wolfenstein New Order.
Wolfenstein New
I
Order,
recommend playing that.
as well as now Wolfenstein. We just
the
talked
Old
about
Blood
2 and Young
to
Blood
the New Colossus
and New Order as well.
And Cesar and I played Young Blood, the one with BJ's twin daughters, and we had a lot of fun with that. We just kind of fell off of it. It was a good co-op shooter.
Oh, Young Blood is not included in the service, though it is on there for like $20.
It's always on sale.
Like. It's available for $20.
Yeah, it's always on sale for less than that. That's not a super expensive game. It was more of an expansion that they kind of panned at the time, but Cesar and I had a good time with it. Games played. Are we moving on?
Yep, that's it.
As you can tell from my slight sunburn, spent a lot of time this past week at the soccer field, so not a whole lot of games played. Before I go to Wolfenstein, I wanted to touch on Resident Evil. I can't remember if I talked about this trying to play it on Steam Deck when I was on vacation. Anytime I would start the game, you go through the options. It's like, do you want to play 4x3 or widescreen? Do you want to play with subtitles on? It's a very basic, and this is a Steam verified title, so it's verified to work on Steam Deck. As you go through this, there's nothing flagging any sort of issues. And once I did research, people were kind of using this as one of those, should it be verified? Should it be playable? Should it be unsupported? Like, we don't know how you call this verified. Because anytime I would try to fire it up, it was the cutscene, the introduction to Resident Evil, the remake. You see like a helicopter with stars and Chris is narrating it. And then you see the dogs come out and you see the news briefing about people being eaten. And then everybody runs in the mansion, right? And then the game starts. What I would do, firing up that game, you would get this weird, remember the old broadcast thing where it would be like black, white, pink, green, purple? It would be like, It would be like these lines of, like where it's a non-broadcast. And for a minute I thought it was a bit. I was like, I'll wait till the game loads, and like maybe that's just how the cutscene started, and I don't remember that. So you hear Chris narrating for about 10 seconds, and then it goes enter the survival horror, and then people are going in the mansion. And I'm like, this is not how it worked. It never switched out of that weird, we don't have an NTSC signal feed default thing that you would see on TVs back in the day. And so once I got internet, I'm researching it, and it's a known thing. If you let the Steam Deck pick the high quality textures, which it will natively do, you have to back it down to normal texture pack, and then all the cutscenes will play properly. And some people are reporting the high textures work with the 4x3, but I won't go that far. I've got that version on GameCube if I want to do that. So I haven't officially tried it. I just discovered this because that was basically all the Resident Evil titles are Steam Deck compatible. So I'm thinking like this is how I can consume this series. I'm going to start with that first Resident Evil remake and go from there. Because I've never actually gotten very far in that game. My most played version of Resident Evil is the DS one. I got really far into that Deadly Silence Resident Evil game.
It's a good one.
It is good. Enjoyed the hell out of it. It was a lot of fun. I started up Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, the sequel to Wolfenstein The New Order, one I very, very much enjoyed and have been played all the way through on the Steam Deck. It gives you a nice recap of the first Wolfenstein, The New Order, and leads you up into, there's a major decision you make in that first game, and I talked about how it played out throughout the game with the differences between those two characters. And I was wondering, like, is my decision going to carry over here? Famously, Brand, have you played Gears 5?
No,
Okay.
I hadn't gotten to Gears 5.
Cesar and I played through that campaign when it came out, and it goes places. And at the very end of the campaign, you're forced to make a choice, and I don't know what the next Gears looks like based off of that choice. So there's a very similar thing to Wolfenstein, and in the recap, they mention both of the characters, and then probably 20 or 30 minutes into the campaign, you get another kind of flashback where you get to reenact your decision. So you can either change depending on what timeline. Basically, and the first game did this. I guess they knew how things were going to go continuity wise, but it tells you it's either the two characters are Wyatt and Fergus. So whether you've picked one or the other, the whole rest of your save says like the Wyatt timeline or the Fergus timeline. And there's perks to picking one or the other, and then like story based bits of it. And like I said, right before the last boss, there's a whole thing with whoever you didn't pick, and it's out there. It's disturbing, and they let you cement that in the start of this one. Sounds like what Mass Effect does. You know, Mass Effect has like a comic introduction to Mass Effect 2, where you can kind of put your major plot points in place based off of the decisions you might have made in that one. So sounds like it's very similar. I mentioned last week, don't get attached to anybody in New Order. Someone that survived and was a major key point in New Order dies within the first hour of the Wolfenstein 2. And I'm like, I wasn't prepared for this. And they lose their head, literally. And I'm like, okay, here we are. This is not going well for us. For as much as Wolfenstein is about killing Nazis and trying to bring hope and a new outlook on the world and things like that, it is bleak and dark. And just when you think you get a leg up, you're brought back to earth as far as the cruelty of the Nazis and how awful they are. BJ wakes up, based off the end of the first game, BJ wakes up and is in a wheelchair. So the whole first level is him in a wheelchair, and you have your gun out and he's trying to roll, and then as you keep going, he'll put the gun down, and then you get faster as you're rolling in the wheelchair. It's a great element. And there's certain parts of the level where you can't go up, and there's a conveyor belt in this U-boat. You start off in a U-boat, and you'll have to like wait for a platform to come down, and then you wheel onto the conveyor belt, and then you'll go up that, and there's more Nazis to kill up there, of course. You can tell this is not a last gen game. This was not a 360 PS3 game. It didn't come out on those platforms. It's a newish engine. The AI moves differently. There's a whole lot of more particle effects going on and things like that. You can play it on the ultra settings on the Steam Deck, so you can go in those the PC settings, and it literally plays on ultra, and it's beautiful. I'm not too far into that. I cleared that first little area. Wolfenstein 2 it picks up right where that first one left off, and it's an awesome game. I mentioned last week I started Skyrim, so when I wasn't on Wolfenstein, I've got like 8 hours in Skyrim now. I sent Cesar a picture. I was like, back on my bullshit. Look what happened. And you can definitely tell this is like the PS4 Pro Xbox One X version, because it's got the God lighting in it. So when the sun is setting, stuff like that, and you're looking up through the trees, it's got these God rays that just, you do not see that on the Switch version. And it's such a beautiful game still. And I'm not playing with any mods or anything. I'm just playing the vanilla special edition, like the most updated, patched one that was available for Steam Deck. And I'm basically following the main quest. I want to beat this game. I've never played this game all the way through. And the story's really good. Like, as far as I've gotten in the story, I could see where it was headed, and it was just a really good fantasy story. And so I've tried to follow kind of the same path I always generally do, where I'm trying to knock out the story beats. And I've found like 4 dungeons I've never played in my 13 years or whatever it is now at this point. I think it's 12 years of playing this game. There's a whole big Twitter thing today I was reading. For some reason, and I keep bringing up Twitter, for some reason DualShockers is talking about every single game I'm playing. They had a Skyrim article in the past 2 days. They had a Wolfenstein article in the past 2 days. Shit, there's one other game they were talking about, and I was like, are you just following my games played list? Are you just like looking at what I'm currently going through?
They're plugged into your
I don't know what it is. It's like they're talking about the same shit that I'm doing.
They're backdooring into the Steam Deck. They're like, what's this guy playing?
It's crazy. Let me look at my recent titles because there was one other thing that jumped out there. Well, everybody's talking about the Jedi Fallen Order right now. Yeah, it's not jumping out right offhand. But there was 4 years between Oblivion and Skyrim, and there's been 12 between Skyrim and whatever 6 is. If 6 came out this year, it'd be 12 years. And people are like, at least we got Fallout 76 in that interim. Or, Elder Scrolls Online was kind of garbage when it came out, but that's really turned into that's where their new content comes out as far as the Elder Scrolls series. I'm not into the way that one plays. I like being offline. I like playing the story mode that I do. But essentially in Skyrim, you're the Dragonborn. So you discover that pretty early on in the game, and you're trying to figure out why that is. And they send you to High Hrothgar, which is where the Greybeards are, and they know a lot of lore of the Dragonborn. They teach you how to shout. So a lot of the marketing in Skyrim was the Fus Ro Da stuff. And I've learned the Fus Ro part of the shout. So the rest of that is coming up. But like I said on the way, I ran into 3 dungeons that I've never stumbled into before. Like I vividly remember some of the quests I played, and this was none of them. I was like, wow, I'm playing the same game I've been playing, and here's all this new shit in here. I did have a funny incident. There are, I believe it's for an expansion. So this Skyrim special edition, I didn't get the anniversary edition. It's an additional add-on you can get, and that's the one that came out. What is that, a year and a half ago at this point? The game famously launched at 11/11/11, so it was 11/11/21 that the anniversary edition came out. But it's a bunch of creator stuff and like fishing and just some other things that I didn't need. I can add on to this one if I need to. And so there's a point where they introduce an add-on to the DLC, and they do that by having someone like walk up to you at a certain point in the story. And then once you defeat them, they leave behind a letter that kind of tells you like, hey, go here and get on a ship. And that's how they incorporate the DLC. So that's what takes you to an extra area. But when these 2 people showed up, the first time I played it, I'm in this major town. So as they attack you, they talk to you and they kind of taunt you for a minute, and they turn around and walk off, and then they attack you. And so I have what they call as a house carl. It's like a lady that walks along with me. Like she's a co-adventurer that was assigned for doing one of the early story missions. And you can give her gear and have her help you out with parts of the story. And there's multiple house carls you can get, but I've only ever had Lydia. So I've had Lydia by my side for all my Skyrim adventures. And for some reason, one of us hit a guard as we're fighting these people. So then the guards turn on us. Brant moaned in recognition of what happens. So then it's like, okay, load the quick save. But so what I would do then is like try to get them away from the guards, and they murdered me. I had no chance against these 2 people. It was back to that Titan Quest game where I had no chance. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I can't avoid them. My save is right. They're coming for me. They have to approach you and confront you, calling you the false dragonborn, this kind of thing. So after probably 6 respawns of that autosave, I eventually like backed up around a building, and you can see them trudging after me like they're coming. They're going to come talk to me. And I went around to the guards, and this time I kited another guard. There was another one walking through this village. And I got them to where like basically the guards were going after them. And I went from never competing, never being able to get a significant amount of hits on these cultists, to I never got hit, and they both were defeated. So I was like, yes. I save scummed and finally beat them and never got touched. I was like, you guys were easy. This is the way of Skyrim. So that's the update on that. I'm going to try to see this campaign through finally. Let me see what it says. Yeah, it says I have 7 hours in it. So I know I bought that special edition. I got Skyrim Special Edition and Wolfenstein 2 on Humble Bundle for like $15 total, both of them. Steam sales are just so... They're so ridiculous. And you don't have to have a crazy awesome gaming PC, and the Steam Deck is not crazy awesome, but there's these verified games, playable games and such like that. But to me, that investment is like so much better than trying to wait on a sale for a Switch port of these, because these are still $60 games. Like Wolfenstein 2 is $60 on Switch, or it's $60 for Skyrim. It's like these games are so old. Both of these classics for me was $15. I got Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order to run. Did I talk about that last week? Like I was having compatibility issues. I just deleted it. I reinstalled it because the Steam Deck, I've noticed, like I'll mess with the video settings, or I'll mess with the compatibility or something like that. I was like, I'll delete this. I'm not doing this now. And I re-downloaded it, and I'm running it with the most recent like Proton pack, which is like the Windows handoff to allow the Linux machine to run the Windows stuff. And it's flawless. And I finally got to demo the game to friend of the show Russell and friend of the show Robbie. And they were looking at the handheld like, oh my God, I cannot believe it's doing this. Like it's the intro with the train where you're learning to parry the stormtroopers and like slow them down with the force and pick them up and that sort of stuff. And it showcases so well on that screen. You're just like, I can't believe this is a handheld. It's that sense of awe moment with looking at that stuff. And that is it. Those are my games played. It's been a Steam Deck week when I've been able to play some titles. Goddamn Skyrim.
No more Centaur.
Skyrim. So I Googled it. Apparently everyone has trouble with the Centaur. What I'm going to do is... So he's always been in this like cove, right? And I've always attacked it from the south because that's where the opening is. And apparently, because I've never made it past... So there's the big Centaur and then there's like 10 little guys, right? And I've been able to kite some of those out and kill the little guys. I Googled it. People say run straight through. And there's another Spartan camp. I think I talked about there being a Spartan camp in this area. And the whole reason I'm trying to meet Leonidas. And he's blocked off until I prove my worth by beating this guy. And I've been able to kite some of the enemies back to like certain parts of the Spartan camp. But apparently if I run straight up, which I've never done, I could pull him up towards one of those Spartan camps. And there's one above me. But he's got a buff, is what I was reading. So he's got a buff naturally that makes him resistant to my attacks. And I've just got to wear him down to the point where the buff is over. And most people said either kite him up to the top where the other Spartan camp is at, or just take a shit ton of potions. Spend all your money on potions and wear them down, heal. Wear them down, heal. Because it's basically one button press to heal. I don't have to like leave the menu or anything. I could keep holding down and shooting. It was aggravating because when I Googled it, people were like, you should be playing with the bow because you could just pull him back with the archery and then as he turns around, just keep shooting at him. I'm like, that's all I ever do. I'm always the archer. Like I've done that since when I picked a character and like first started off in the game. I've been doing that. It's like, great. What do I do? So there's some other suggestions, but apparently it's just this crazy speed bump very early in the game. Because like I said, it flowed awesome up until that point. Oh, and on that note, I think I told y'all last week, is like, I'll just download Diablo 3 and I'll pick that back up and start playing it. So I did that. The collection Cesar talked about a couple weeks ago, it seems like it's on sale more than it's not, but they'll give you Diablo 2 is it Resurrected? That's Doom 3 maybe. Whatever the remaster is of Diablo 2 that came out within the past year or two. They'll give you that and the ultimate Diablo 3, which is Prime Evil Collection, I think, which is all the DLC for that game for $20. And it's been like that on the Blizzard.net. It's been like that on Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch. So I already knew I had the save profile on Switch, and I was like, I'm on this portable kick. I'll get the Switch version. I'll fire up this guy wherever I'm at. I was on I have a level 36 character. And I'm just looking around, and there's so many items, and there's so much stuff in the menus, and I've got a person following me. I don't know, there's like a guy with me, like on Skyrim. And I looked around, and I tried to go fight someone, and I had no clue what was happening. It's Cesar sent. What was the Gandalf thing, Cesar?
Oh, I don't recall this.
I don't know where I'm at. It's like,
yeah.
I was like, oh God, I cannot deal with this. I'm gonna have to start a new. But they do, it's one of those where it's like, it's not save profiles, but they'll let you pick a new hero. So I'll just pick a new hero and get my fix that way, because unless I can beat the Centaur somehow, but it might be worth giving up on Titan Quest for the $5 that I paid if I can never beat the Centaur. I'll drop back to Diablo 3. And again, when I fired it up on that OLED, I was like, oh, this OLED is so nice. It's such a good way to play games on this thing. Still no update on Metroid Prime Remaster, but that's still on my list. Got to get back to it, knock it out. But those are my games played this past week.
It's on the list.
It's on the list. Join the list. It's closer to being off the list than it ever has been since 2002.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
That's a good start.
This anime season's been killing me. I've been watching 20 different shows, so I've been spending most time doing that.
Ooh, 20 shows.
Yeah, this is a good season.
The season of anime.
I think the only thing I played a little bit of, I played some Atomic Heart. I've only probably like 4 or 5 hours into it. It's like a poor man's version of BioShock.
Poor man's version of BioShock.
Yeah, I enjoy BioShock. This one, I don't know, man. I just don't like the main character. I prefer the main character to be silent. This guy just bitches and complains all the time. He's very whiny, and he argues with his glove, which is Charles. And it's like
the glove is that animated thing, like it's a.
It speaks to him, yeah. Some kind of thing that's connected to him, Neuralink. So I mean, it's like it's one of those ones you might like it, Richard. It's one of those ones like alternate history. It's like Soviet Union, 1959. Basically rules the world type of thing, where they have all these machines or AI that they created that even the United States is using, because they even have stuff from in the United States. The United States is complaining about all these robot workers with the increase in unemployment, since there's less people that needs jobs for these robot workers that the Soviet Union is providing to them.
I do like alternate history.
And so, I mean, basically, you just have there's like some kind of revolution happening with the robots, and you have to go in there and kind of figure out. You got to find the guy Petrov who created the program and then try to defect, and then they punished him by like, all right, you finished the job, and then expect him not to betray anybody, and then he basically betrayed everybody. And now you got to find him to stop all the robots that are going haywire and trying to kill everybody.
You said this would be fine. We trusted you.
So, but I mean, you get a lot of the BioShock influences in the very beginning, where you get the first person view. You're going down a canal and you're going through a city with humans mixed with androids and robots, and then you get in this vehicle that flies you with this thing called a bumblebee, like a robotic flying craft, and it flies you around, and this is all these floating islands over there floating over the Soviet Union, and it drops you towards the ground. And after that, it just kind of goes down to the normal first person shooter thing. I don't know, man. I think maybe like 4 hours into it, I was like, I don't know if I want to play this, man.
Really?
And then I looked online. I was like, is it just me? And everybody loves it online, man. I don't get it. I don't know. I'll fuck around with it a little bit more, maybe. Outside of that, I did play some more Resident Evil 4. I think I'm in the castle now. I'm at that bullshit part where they're gonna constantly kidnap Ashley.
You don't think that'll have changed?
They've done it before, and it pisses me off because like they carry her away and like they aim her body when I'm shooting at them, and then I kill her every time. I'm like, God damn it, man! And I have to start over again. I'm like, it's like they just know I'm shooting at them. They're like, oh, just shoot her legs, and she dies instantly. And I'm like, the only thing I noticed is there's way more bear traps in this game than ever before.
Oh my gosh!
I'm running into bear traps more than ever.
Brent can confirm
now. Yeah, I'm like, because I'm saying like I don't remember this being this many bear traps. It's like there's a legit area where I'm like getting hit every 5 seconds. And I'm like, what the fuck, man?
I need to install my copies. Both of you guys are playing it. I've got one. I need to go ahead and install it.
Was that villain's name Salazar?
The little dude, the little creepy guy.
Yeah, I'm playing in Japanese, man, and his voice actor's Buruku from One Piece, and I was like, yeah, I recognize that voice. So I was like, yeah.
How's the Japanese voice acting? Really good?
It's pretty good. It's not accurate when I'm looking at it in English, since I understand Japanese a lot more. So I'm looking like, yeah, that's not what they said. But it's fine. Yeah, so I'm at that part now where I'm doing that fucking oil thing where I have to do all these little... I'm just at that bullshit part now where they're coming after, where I have to use the little wheel and turn down all the bridges and climb up there, and it's that little puzzle area where this nonstop enemies, and this is when you get to the Resident Evil of guns type thing where you're running out of bullets all the time. I'm over here making guns and shit, and I'm making bullets in there. It's a lot, like I said, it's a lot easier this time getting a lot of the treasure, so you can buy a lot of the weapons and the upgrades. So I've been having a pretty easy time with that. I do notice like some things that are different, because I don't remember too much from when I did my playthrough on PS4, but this one I noticed when the dude with the eyes, his eyes sewn shut. That is a completely different boss fight. It's completely different than it was on the old school one. They changed it because I think that one you kind of look at a downstairs area and it leads you down there and you fight them. Like this one, it just draw me down there and it put me in a room and it put all these chains everywhere, and it's completely different how I fought them than last time. But yeah, outside of that, I'm like chapter 7, so it's not that much after the castle, I think, right? Once you get past the castle, it's usually downhill from there. As It's like three-fourths of the
I
game,
haven't
probably.
played all the way through it since the GameCube, and I just remember that game never ending. Like it got to a climax and you kept going. You got to another ending and it kept going. Like it just kept going. Which I didn't complain about, but it's like, man, I thought we were close to the end, and then you have more, and then you got a sniper rifle at some point. It's like, man, this keeps going.
Yeah, the story is pretty true to the original one. They do add some stuff in there. Like there's some more interactions with Luis and Ada in there. I'm sure Brent will notice that they interact a lot more. Like Ada's in there. It's like this is not part of the deal type stuff with Luis and stuff like that. So
there's a pretty significant boost in performance with the patch. Are you noticing it looks better, or plays better, or anything?
Yeah, I mean, it plays the same. I mean, from what I can tell, yeah. I mean, I didn't really have issues before then, so I don't know. I don't know what I'll be looking for.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not like something it's not like Atomic Heart where I mean, it's weird. It's
Go on.
It's got some frame pacing issues in that game where it just like stutters sometimes, like it's humping the screen. I'm like,
still.
Yeah, over some of the. I mean, it's a memory guy. It's a double-A game, so it's one of those double-A games. So. I think their patch came out recently. I don't think I've tried it with the recent patch, but I mean, I never really noticed a difference in Resident Evil 4, but it plays pretty well. So, but yeah, that's it for me. I'll kick it over to you, Brant.
I also have been playing Resident Evil 4. I popped it in, played it a little bit today. Got to chapter 3. So I've just like reached the church, and I'm about to have to try and get in there and find Ashley. Like you said, I've just noticed there's a hell of a lot more bear traps. I mean, even portions where like after I got hit by the first bear trap, I'm like, okay, I'm keeping my eyes on the ground. So anytime I can, I'm looking and I'm tripping the bear traps. But there's even been times where like trying to remember exactly where that was. It's after you get like that little, it's a hexagonal key that's got like a bird on it, and you go through, you kill a couple enemies, and then there's like a little open area, but then you go up these like 3 stairs, and there's just a chainsaw guy waiting for you. And I saw him, and I like backtracked while he's trying to rev up. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna run back a little bit and set
right
up
before the house, right?
Yeah, set up with the rifle.
Yeah, that's a weird place where I think that's where you save the dog, right? Instead of the beginning of the game, you save the dog there, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, that wolf!
So
that wolf
literally,
thing's not in the beginning.
The wolf.
Huh.
Yeah. So I literally I turn around and walk down the stairs and bear trap. I'm like, what the? Well, that wasn't there 2 seconds ago.
Yeah, this
I
bear
swear to
traps
God.
everywhere, man.
I swear to God.
They just pop up.
It's bear traps everywhere.
So, but other than that, like you said, it's pretty faithful as far as story wise. There's like layouts and things that are a little bit different. I've already seen things about this in like little review videos and things. So the game basically will, I wouldn't say punish you, but it makes you play things differently from the original. So if you try to do things like you did in the original game, like say the original when you walk into the village for the first time, in that village where you have all the villagers running after you, and you've got to either kill the chainsaw man or just run time out until the church bell rings. There was this one tower that you used to be able to climb up, and you could climb all the way to the top of the tower and then just sit there and look at the ladder and
Wait
pop
for
them as they're coming up.
And some of the ladders you could kick down, right? Not that one specifically,
Yeah.
but some of them you could be like, I'm up here now.
In this one, you can walk up to the top of that tower. There's like a green herb there, but you pick up that green herb and you walk around for like 2 seconds. The floor just collapses. So there's
Oops.
there's no cheating it and cheesing it like you could in the original. And I've already seen a few other instances where they do that. If you rely on your old knowledge, you kind of get in a bad situation. Which is cool. I do like that. It gives you it makes you play it a little bit differently. Make you play from a fresh approach. The durability of the knife is pissing me off a little bit. I'm already getting tired of my knife breaking. That was like the first thing, because that's one of the things I saw was like, if you can, just go ahead and upgrade the knife. I know I upgraded the durability.
Yeah.
And
So a friend of the show,
Still
Michael
breaks.
and I were talking. There's some other button that you can mash stuff open with, like you can melee.
oh, you can just kick. Yeah, you just
Yeah, you can
kick
press
stuff.
X. and kick
Okay, so
shit,
you don't
yeah.
have to. It doesn't have to expire by cutting it open. Because it used to be you would just
Yeah.
swipe with the knife.
But I've already gotten to the point where I've hit a box open and there was a damn snake in there. So
They attack you, I'm assuming.
yes, just like back in the old ones. Because I know the first time that happened in the original, I'm like, okay, every box, I hit it with the knife and then just keep
Yeah.
going because that damn snake's in there. So
We threw
but
you
my
off.
knife
with the
already
snake
broke
box.
again. My damn knife already broke.
What happens
again,
when
even
What
though-
happens when it breaks?
I only broken it once. You got to get it fixed by the merchant.
Yeah, you got to get it. You got to get it fixed for another like 4,000.
You can't pick up knives off of anybody. It's not like Breath of the Wild.
Can't.
Weapon
You
breaking.
can pick up kitchen knives. They're like these smaller stubby kitchen knives, and you get maybe like a couple stabs out of it, and it
Stabby,
breaks.
stabby.
But you can find a good bit of them. Like there was at one point in the game where I was walking around with 3 of those and my combat knife. So,
Damn, one more and you can have place seating for 8.
two more dings for the game, and it's not a major issue. But when you enter the game and you're sitting there on the title screen and you press start into the game, it doesn't go Resident Evil 4. So that's a little ding, and also the
Really?
merchant. The merchant, when you talk to him, he doesn't, automatically go, "Whoa, what are you buying?
No
What are you
way!
selling?" No, yeah, he hasn't said that once to
What?
me yet. I know that line is in the game.
Oh,
Somebody
okay.
said that he does. He does.
What do you
say
do
it
to
at some
prompt it?
point.
You got to keep talking to
But
him
I'm
over and
like-
over. Where is it? Say the line.
Yeah.
Say the line.
I'm
Can you
like,
can you
come
point your
on,
gun
man.
at him and try to get him to say it?
I'm like, he should at least say it the first time you meet him. Come on, man.
No, because now he's got you. Now he's
So-
got you waiting. It's gonna be a
But
big
no,
deal when he finally drops the hammer.
But I'm having a good time with the game. There's definitely some like new enemies and other little things that they've thrown in here to change it up enough, because there was one instance where like I was walking into this like farmhouse, and then all of a sudden the door breaks down, and there's like this dude with like a freaking like ox head on him and a giant hammer. I'm like, okay, I don't remember you.
Oh, it's like Dragon Quest.
Bullet
That guy's in
sponge.
Dragon Quest, right?
It's a fucking bullet sponge, is what he is.
Yeah, he was goddamn bullet
What do you do with
sponge.
him?
It
You
was,
run?
I had a bunch of grenades, so I threw some grenades and shot him with the shotgun. He went down.
Damn.
But yeah, he literally he'll do the whole like cartoon wind up and like swing with the hammer at you. Like
You know he's coming for your ass when you see that
So,
going on. Oh
Um,
man.
And other than that, it wasn't the catfish trial that I did in Link's Awakening. It was the angler.
Key.
I had the angler key, and I did the angler dungeon.
You dug that one up,
Which-
right? Is that one at Richard's Villa where you dig it up with the shovel? No.
No, that was the one before. That was the scorpion
Tail
I don't-
key. Tail
gosh.
cave.
tail key.
Yeah.
But the angler dungeon, aside from it being like just a really odd dungeon, a lot of the enemies, the mini boss and the angler boss itself were really
Mhm.
easy. It's probably the easiest dungeon so far. So I've got the flippers, and I can go underwater. There was another Mario enemy in there. The Thwomps
Thwomps are in there.
made an appearance.
You can jump on them. You have to jump across them to get across platforms, right? Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
I think some of them you have to weigh down, like you put a jar on their heads or something and it drops them down. Ooh, they're like, ooh, you can see it in their face.
And other than that, I really hadn't gotten a chance to get back into that and play more.
I need to pick up my playthrough on I've still had this sitting down here from whenever I talked about it on the show. This is the Mario Brothers one.
Yeah.
And it ran out of juice at some point. But I need to pick up my Link's Awakening playthrough on that Zelda one.
But yeah, that puts me at about halfway through because there's 8 instruments in all. So I got 4 or 8.
Wake the Windfish.
And I've walked to the top of the stairs and I've seen the giant egg. Now I've just got to get all the rest of the instruments.
Mount Koholint. Koholint or Kolohint? Koholint. Boom, 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 boom. Tall Heights.
But that's it for me. You've still played the most. This is weird. Usually you're the one that's going like, I played a little Halo, I played a little this, and that's it.
And it's been, like I was thinking when I came down here, I've been down here twice since we got back. So, like, I didn't do any Call of Duty. I didn't do any Halo. None of my usual bullshit. Still don't know if I'm going to reactivate Game Pass because it seems like I can play Halo Infinite and Warzone with no issue. It'd have to be something major to come out that I'm like, yeah, this will be worth it. Or, Starfield and get that 3-month thing off of Newegg or CD Keys or whatever it is for like $32 for 3 months of Starfield. I don't know. I've just kind of determined like there's so much to play and I have access to so much. I don't need this. And I'm not cutting off what I'm already playing on the system. Like I don't have to have access to that library currently. But I realize like the three of us are different from your normal user. Like an average Xbox owner, that is a super, super great value. And I'm not saying it's not a great value. It's just as far as our libraries and collections are concerned, we have plenty of things to play without the Netflix of games that Game Pass does offer. All right, is that it for us? Anything else you want to add, closing?
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this week, and we will catch you next week. Bye.
See ya.
Adios.